Today, we're going to answer the big question. When is the next crypto bull run? When is it likely to begin? And when is it likely to end? And today, we're going to use Bitcoin halving to really help us correlate what's likely to happen next based on what's happened in the past. If you like today's video, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Say hello to my cat, Taurus. She's over there helping us, looking very stoic in the background. Right, let's dive into Bitcoin and see when is the next bull market likely to begin. We are going to use Bitcoin's price action to help us determine when the next bull market is likely to be. And to help us do that, we're going to dive into something called Bitcoin halving. So if you're not familiar, Bitcoin was first released in 2009, January 2009, and the protocol, the program, basically released 50 new Bitcoins every 10 minutes, every new block. And after 210,000 blocks, which takes approximately 4 years, the amount released every block reduced by half, hence the term Bitcoin halving. So if we look at this, 2009, 50 new Bitcoins issued every block, which is approximately 10 minutes. In 2012, that halved to 25 per block. 2016, it halved again to 12.5. And in 2020, the last Bitcoin halving happened, and that was 6.25. So there's 210,000 blocks, and then the next halving occurs. So it's very mathematical, it's very exact. But we don't know the exact date of the next halving because it takes approximately 10 minutes per block. But we do know it's going to be in March 2024. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the last two Bitcoin halvings and then what happened with the price action. Then we're going to look at the next Bitcoin halving when it's anticipated to be, and then what's likely to occur next as well. And we're going to take a few other factors into account. So let's just now look at this. So just noted it over here. Bitcoin halving, 9th of July 2016. Then the market made a nice bullish run around within a year, and then we had the 2017 bull run. And then the market peaked over here. We can see this over here, December 2017. And the bull run lasted approximately 17 months. Approximately 17 months once it began. Then we had a long correction, which lasted over a year. We're talking about this long correction over here. Then we had the next Bitcoin halving event. The next halving happened on the 11th of May 2020, Bitcoin halving. And then we had what was a really big bull run. We had this massive surge to the upside, and it peaked in November 2021. And again, it lasted approximately 18 months. So this can really help us see what's happening in the market with crowd psychology and buying and selling behavior as it gets overvalued and then undervalued. And that's going to be really, really important. So when is the next Bitcoin halving? So that should be the first question. To help us see when is the next bull market likely to occur? Well, we know it's going to be in 2024. And it's likely to be March 2024. We don't know the exact date because every block takes approximately 10 minutes. So it might be a few days either side. So mid to end of March 2024, closer to the time, we'll be able to pinpoint when that's going to be. So what is the price action likely gonna happen? What I see is the ways markets behave is we're probably between now and March 2024 going to see something called a wave 1 and a wave 2. Go, what's a wave 1 and a wave 2? Well, we can actually look back in history, pre-COVID over here, before the bull market really began, the last one, like this movement to the upside, we had this move to the upside and then something called a correction, right? In fact, I want to just zoom into this because this is going to be really, really important for us to see what's likely to happen next. So let's just look at this like this because we want to see the next bull run and what's likely to occur. And it's probably going to mimic what's happened in the past. So what we had occur, we had this surge in price action. Then we had what was called a correction. This down here was COVID. And then it was the real beginning of the bull run. Here was the halving event. And then we had this massive rampant move to the upside. So when did the bull market begin? So this is also really important to really distinguish. Was it here? Was it here? Or was it here? Technically speaking, the whole run actually began over here. So it was actually prior to the halving. But then we had a very deep correction, and the COVID correction was very, very deep. And then the halving occurred, and then the market took off. So I think we're going to see something very similar to that with now and the next bull market. And what we're going to cover as well is some price action. So what I've drawn over here is I think we're going to see the end of this bear market over the next few months. Right? We don't know exactly when, but the price action will tell us. And what I believe we're going to see is some type of surge to the upside, some type of wave one is like the initial part of the bull market, but then a wave two correction. A wave two corrections are typically 50 to 78.6% pullbacks. In other words, they can be quite steep. Something like this. We got the Bitcoin halving event, the next event, March 2024. And that's where I see the real market, the impulsive movement really taking off to the upside. So I'm going to draw a couple of things, and it's total forecasting, right? It's hard to do forecasting and really pinpoint the exact dates when we're looking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years in advance. But we can get an indicative feel of what's likely to occur based on what's happened in the past. So before I do this, I just want to also let you know, if you want to get more private, exclusive access to me, my community, my workshops, we've launched our NFT collection, which gives you gated access, different levels of access. And the sale of the NFT is actually closing in the next couple of days. We've made it cheap as chips because we know we're at the extreme of a bear market. So they're going to be much more expensive once the sale completes, which is going to be on the 31st of Jan. We do a reveal date. We've got 6 characters, but everyone has a massive utility. And some of it's just pure fun, but a lot of it's going to be workshops, services. You can kind of read the website. It's in the link below. So check it out. Grab yourself a few if you're one of my early supporters, and you'll be thankful that you did because they're only priced at around £40, give or take, because it's 0.04 ETH and ETH price moves. But if you can grab yourself some, do. We're going to close, and then the utility is going to be phenomenal. There's some really cool stuff we're going to launch, already launched, but we're going to launch in 2023. So what I want you to do next is it's pure forecasting, right? So we're looking into the future, but what I see happening, and I'm going to go into a bit of detail because it's relatively predictable and it's highly likely. So I've set ourselves a price target based on some Fibonacci ratios. So the highly probable price target that the next bull market is going to reach is probably going to be in the $125,000 range. The date is probably going to be October 2025, thereabouts. And what's likely to happen, I'm going to go into a bit of detail here, is we're probably going to get some type of move to the upside that's going to look something like this. It's going to be like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, quite impulsive to the upside. I'm just going to make this a bit smaller so we can just see it a bit clearer as well. And then we're probably going to get some type of correction. Something like this. And, a lot of people are going to be questioning, is Bitcoin going to take off? Is the crypto market going to take off? But here is where real institutional adoption is probably going to occur because regulation's coming. People are now really defining what is Bitcoin. Is a commodity. That's how they're defining it. What are some of the other cryptocurrencies? Is it a security? Is it a commodity? Is it a token? How is it defined? All of that regulation is coming into play, which basically means the big boys can play. And that money is going to flock in because the technology is here to stay. Web3, it's just much more efficient than the current technology. So that's the natural technological adoption that's going to occur. So what's likely to occur then thereafter is we're going to have this, what's called a wave 1, broken down to a 5-wave structure. This wave 2, a 3-wave structure, something like this. And then we're going to have a really impulsive mass adoption. Like it's going to be crazy, like a wave 3. And that's what we had down over here, this wave 3. So it's probably going to be very, very aggressive to the upside. We're probably then going to get some type of wave 4 correction. And then some type of final wave 5. And that's more than likely what's going to occur with Bitcoin. So when is the next Bitcoin bull market or the crypto bull market? Well, I actually think it's going to begin sometime soon. But most are not going to recognize that the beginning has started. Why? Because when the last couple of bull markets began, people didn't define it as this as a bull market. Mainly because wave 1s are just the initial move and it's not aggressive. And what tends to follow is quite an extreme pullback, like a wave 2 pullback. And that's what I think we're going to see. We're going to see some type of aggressive move to the upside, but people are not going to regard that as the bull market. We're going to see some type of correction, a lot of fear. This fear, by the way, and the news is probably going to be worse than what it is down here, like now. That's just typical of wave twos. It's just the nature of the game. But then that's normally the beginning of what's called a wave three, the most aggressive move to the upside. And this is where we're going to make a lot of money, a lot of money. Anticipate a wave four, which is a profit-taking wave, and then a final wave five. And end of 2025, October, thereabouts, we're probably going to see some type of then pullback called a more extreme wave four. Again, we'll go into more detail again, probably a bit too ahead of myself right now, but that's what's likely to occur before the next bullish movement to the upside. So there you have it. What do you think? When is the next crypto bull market cycle going to be? Is it going to be now, like literally now, but the market's not going to realize because it's just a wave one and then a pullback and then a wave three? But that's what I see happening. So if you like today's video, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Check out my NFTs. We've got a couple of more days with the sale. If you're an early adopter, I'd love for you to get some. We've got a really, really strong roadmap for 2023, so I can't wait to share some of that with you. I want to read a quote from my book. We'll finish with chapter 8. It's one of my favorite quotes. It's from Henry Ford. He says the following. You can learn some good stuff from this guy. It has been my observation that most people get ahead during the time that others waste. Crypto, blockchain, NFTs, Web3, we're at the very beginning. And retail, which is you, retail gets to get in for the very first time ahead of institutions because of the way the technology is, which means if we put in the work now, we learn the markets, we learn the technology, we learn wallets, we learn crypto, it means we're going to have a head start on the rest of the world. And really only 3% really know what's happening with Web3. So the real clue is to get into the know, really double down, especially in this bear market, on the basics. So when the bull market does hit, your preparation meets the opportunity, and that's when the results occur. So if you like today's video, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and I'll see you soon. And let's see how this bull market unfolds.